As the ceasefire breaks down, fighting resumes in Gaza and on the Israeli-Lebanese border, and Hamas fires rockets at Israel. Russia's assault on the frontline eastern city of Avdiivka intensifies, leaving few buildings intact. After the truce ended, Hezbollah in southern Lebanon shelled Israeli army posts on the border, and Israel hit back with missile strikes. Meanwhile, more Israeli tanks moved into Gaza. On the diplomatic front, the US Secretary of State described what he'd been trying to achieve before the truce broke down.
I was focused on a few things. Trying to see what we can do to keep getting hostages out of Gaza and out of the hands of Hamas. Looking at how we can both sustain and increase the humanitarian assistance that's getting to people in Gaza, and also talking about the way forward and Israel's efforts to make sure that Hamas never again has the ability to do what it did on October 7th.
And at the Gaza side of the Rafah crossing point with Egypt, there were more Israeli strikes. By Friday evening, Gaza's health ministry said 178 people had been killed and dozens wounded. Israel says 77 of its soldiers have so far been killed in its ground offensive in northern Gaza. And it claims to have killed thousands of Hamas fighters, but so far hasn't provided any evidence of it. Russia's assault on the frontline city of Avdiivka in the east has intensified, and officials say the remaining 1,300 residents there are enduring apocalyptic conditions. People are living mostly underground as few buildings are intact. A specialised police unit known as the White Angels provides some supplies to those who have stayed. Nearby, in the eastern town of Kupiansk, almost 300 children and their parents have been evacuated. It was the largest evacuation in the Kharkiv region since the war began.
Для безпеки дітей ми брали маршрути через Борову на лівий берег Оскову, тому що через переправу було небезпечно їх перевозити.
On the first day of the evacuation, the Russians attacked their route out of the city. Meanwhile, President Putin ordered nearly 170,000 more troops to be added to the army, taking the number of military personnel in Russia to 2.2 million.
These scenes in Dublin last week after the stabbing of 3 young children and an adult female shocked right-thinking people in Ireland. The angry protests revealed that far-right thinking is taking hold in Ireland.
The far right is a very small movement in Ireland. However, they are feeding into concerns about the immigration system in Ireland, the impact that large numbers of migrants are having on Irish society, which is putting stresses on the housing sector, so they're capitalising on this issue.
The central issue in this upsurge in discontent towards the Irish state is immigration. The population of Ireland has risen from 3.9 million in 2002 to just over 5 million currently. 1 in 5 Irish residents since 1998 were foreign-born, and with 13,000 now declared homeless, many are saying enough is enough. The Irish Freedom Party has no elected representatives, but its leader says a change in immigration policy in Ireland is long overdue.
I believe the government's system of reckless open borders, allowing a large number of unvetted males of unknown origin into the country, has led to an increase, as it has in all countries, be it Sweden, France and Germany, an increase in violence and sexual assault.
With almost full employment and a thriving economy in Ireland, rising rents in Dublin are making it difficult for many to afford a house. However, the employers' body IBEC says immigrants are needed, otherwise certain sectors of the economy will collapse.
We don't think society or the economy could keep going without the immigrant population. It's not a homogenous group. We see a lot of immigrants from Europe who predominantly come to work.
The rioting scene here in Dublin last week has turned out to be a major wake-up call for the Irish government. The Irish police are to change tactics. The Irish public are angry that the far right appears to have taken hold. If the Irish government doesn't adequately address the issues around mass immigration, what happened here on this very street last week could happen again in the not too distant future. This is Ken Murray for Euronews in Dublin.